Kimberly Thornton with HeIsReal.com, and we're going to continue a little bit more on our writing series, this time a little bit more focusing on film. As I promised that we will give you as many tips and ideas and opportunities just to kind of help you hone your craft a little bit more to get your message out. So I had written down a few notes regarding writing, and you know, there's nothing more important to a film or a filmmaker than a great screenplay. So, you know, really, story is key. And in some of our writing series, I gave you some ideas about how to just look around in everyday life, gave you some assignments, you know, for your writing journals to be able to come up with some ideas, some characters, some plots, and those types of things. So a film's concept, stories, characters, dialogue, visual concepts, and environment all begin with the script. Now, of course, those of us who are on a budget, we're not necessarily looking to be Hollywood, you know, for the next blockbuster. A lot of times, if you know that you can use someone's camera, maybe a church or a student or a family member, whoever has a video camera that you are ready to film on with, make sure of its capability, your capability, and where you can you know, be able to go and film without really having to go get permits, you know, all over town. So just kind of keep that in mind. So, you know, but be warned of the writing process or acquiring a screenplay is a long journey. So if you're especially if you're writing a feature film, but even consider if you're writing a script, a little 2-minute skit or something like that you're performing somewhere, you don't want to just knock it out in 5 minutes. You really want to be able to think about it and to bring its believability to your audience so that they're completely taken on a journey. And I know you guys have probably heard me say that many times. Take your audience on a journey. There's so much to be learned about writing and the development process, and taking the time to do your homework, well, can definitely make the difference between some kind of a B movie or a blockbuster. So just think about how you want, you know, and obviously knowing your audience, you know, that is key. Knowing your niche, knowing your audience, how you're going to portray that to them, because your way may not necessarily reach them, but you want to know how to reach your audience. So how do you go from good to grand? You know, there are different types of films that you can choose from, and you must take all the necessary steps you can to ensure that that you have chosen like a good genre, or as good as it could possibly be. You know, the genre for your market, for your niche. The difference between a good movie and a great movie, it can be a razor's edge. Given that that films as an entirety have highly subjective to your audience, right? Films could suffer from poor special effects or miscast roles. You know, I mean, we've all seen those movies, and you're like, really, that special effect did not move me. I know this is fake, you know, whatever. But then, you know, on the other hand, it could have been this actor you're thinking, really, I could have done a better job than that, and they're getting paid how much? So you always want to make sure, and even in some of my acting tips when I talked about being able to cast some roles and just some simple things to look at, so you might want to take another look at those. It can also, you know, it could run, your movie or your skit could run way too long. And if you're using, let's say, a test audience, let's say it's your church or your theater group, or you know, wherever you're performing, and you're using this test audience, and after a while people are getting really antsy in their seats or whatever, they even give you feedback, I think it's too long. If you're going to a larger audience, know that it's not going to draw in a crowd like it should. It needs to be exactly what it needs to be. So homework is key. So so let's talk about the importance of a great script. Screenplays, well, especially in Hollywood, are a dime a dozen. Everybody wants to break into Hollywood or whatever. And we're not necessarily talking about that in this particular series, you know, to be able to break into Hollywood. I think if that's something that you want to do, you might want to, you know, contact the right schools. Eventually, I would do a blog just on some research I'm going to do about schools and agents and things that all over the country, if you're interested. So I think I'll do that. That's a great idea. I'm glad you asked. Everyone has written or is writing or wants to write a script. That's why we're all here, right? Well, that said, finding the one silver dollar in the bottomless pit of dimes is like winning the lottery. So when I read that, I thought, yeah, that's a really great line. I had to use this in my blog. But a poor script can feature blasé characters who accomplish nothing in a nondescript environment or with no action potential will never hold the audience's attention. So your characters have to be very, you know, full of depth, and your actors have to be able to really pull that off. And the more specific you are with your characters, you know, as you're sitting down, writing out your play or script, movie script or whatever, make sure you do your character development first. And just dig deep, knowing what they're wearing, what they're like, what their dislikes are, the whole 9 yards. And we had talked about that earlier in some of our other series. But and then also, if the movie doesn't, or the film, the movie, or the script, or the skit doesn't really go anywhere, it doesn't really take your audience on that journey, you want to be able to constantly capture your audience and take them on that journey, you're going to lose them. And it's not going to be, you're not going to portray the message in which you want. So don't just take 5 minutes and write out something, or don't have an idea, I'm ready to write a feature film, and you're sitting down and you have nothing. Your writing journal will help you with all of that, because then you'll be able to pull from those things. So a great script will feature deep, well-constructed characters who thrive and amid a story's plot and imagination. So don't forget, as you're painting that picture with your words, with your characters, with your plot, with even the setting, even some of the establishing shots, all of those things are so key and so crucial. Your costuming, your lighting, your sound, everything is incredibly crucial. So it's important that you take that and you pick it apart as much as you can, your script apart, and continuously piece the missing pieces together. It's not uncommon for filmmakers to change the ending of a film after it's had a test, screened, or for a select audience. If a small group of film goers dislike a conclusion, I've been in a test audience before and didn't like the conclusion, you bet a larger audience will be equally dismayed. So make sure that, especially if you have a film, a short film, feature film, a skit, whatever, that you have a test audience before you take it to your audience, that you're trying, your mass audience, and get their feedback, see what they think, and don't take it personal. You know, just make the note, make the changes, because it may be obvious to you, but it may not be obvious to them. So anyway, I hope this helps. Please let me know. Leave a comment. If you have any questions, concerns, anything maybe that you would like us to explore, please let us know. You can contact me, Kim at heisreal.com, or on our blog, heisreal.com. Leave a comment, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. God bless.